Hey, what's up, everyone? Ralph here. So the news just breaking right now, as of this recording, is that when it comes to the New York City congestion pricing, it is done. Right? Trump and his Department of Transportation, they are getting rid of it. Right? It is over. They're shutting it down. And I'm sure there'll be some legal challenges, but as of now, at the time of this recording, it is done. And we all know that if you're a Trump supporter, we know like. He is getting so much done, right? These first 100 days are going to be amazing because there's so much that he's getting done at such a rapid pace. And he understands, like everyone else, is like this whole congestion pricing is just a money grab, right? It's just a tax on the New York people. Okay, and they just use this money to fund their obviously garbage little MTA program that's not making any money, or it's not generating enough money to pay for itself. So they use this tax on New York citizens to pay for this. So we understand how when it comes to managing money, these people on the left just do a horrible job at that. So as of now, when it comes to this whole congestion pricing, it is done. It is gone. And of course Trump, and his team are a big reason for that. So. Let's read this news report on the New York Post. So it says, all right, congestion pricing we hardly knew, yay. New York City's spectacularly unpopular congestion pricing scheme is on death row as the Trump administration will announce Wednesday it is pulling its approval of the toll, slamming it as a backwards and unfair and the major blow to Governor Kathy Hochul, the Post has learned. All right, it says the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration will terminate the approval of the controversial program, according to a letter of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is set to send to Hochul on Wednesday afternoon. Quote, New York State's congestion pricing is a slap in the face to working class Americans and small business owners, said Duffy. Noting that commuters entering New York City have already financed the construction and improvement of city roadways through their taxes. But now the toll program leaves drivers without any free highway alternative and instead takes more money from the working people to pay for a transit system and not the highways. It's backwards and unfair, he said, blasting the program as harmful and to small businesses in Big Apple that depend on customers from New Jersey and Connecticut. And see, that's the thing. Your MTA transit system should be paying for itself. Right? If you were able to collect enough tolls, right, it would be able to pay for itself so you can do the upgrades and whatever maintenance that you need to do. But because you're not collecting enough money for your MTA, because it's it's corrupt, that you have to tax other people from somewhere else in order to pay for it. That doesn't make sense. Okay, if people were actually paying what they need to pay and you were actually collecting the money needed for the MTA, then it would be able to pay for itself so that you can maintain it and make sure that you can do your upgrades. But no, you want to be able to tax other people in order to pay for that. And that's not going to work. All right. So it says the department will officially rescind the November 21st agreement signed under the value pricing pilot program that imposed a stiff $9 charge for drivers entering Manhattan below 60th Street and starting in January. Every American should be able to access the New York City regardless of their economic means. It shouldn't be reserved for an elite few. So the department said the congestion pricing toll runs counter to the federal highway aid program, which prohibits tolling on roads built with federal funds unless Congress grants an exception. The DOT letter further outlines Duffy's justification for terminating the pilot, including that fails to provide a toll-free alternative for drivers who have no choice but to traverse city roads by vehicle. It also claims the toll rate, which instantly made New York City the most expensive city in the U.S. to drive in, was established to be a revenue generator for the MTA rather than set an amount actually designed to reduce congestion in accordance with the plan's stated purpose. The pilot runs contrary to the purpose of the VPP, which is to impose tolls for congestion reduction, not transit revenue generation. All right, so in the letter to Hochul, viewed by the Post, Duffy writes, to be sure, the termination of the program may deprive the transit system of funding, but any reliance on the funding stream was not reasonable given that the Federal Highway Administration approval only a pilot project. At a press conference last month, the Post asked Hochul how the MTA, which is tens of billions in arrears, or the state plan to determine the efficacy of the toll scheme, which aimed to raise billions to fund the transportation network $15 billion 2020-24 capital improvement. There'll be more data than you can imagine. Today is the first day. I would count today's data. Let's give it a few days to sink in and get a trend, Hochul said. So it said, all right. So yeah. So pretty much, look, it's pretty much done. for now, and I'm sure there's going to be some, litigation, and they'll send it to court. But as of now, it is done, and this is the way it should be, right? Because the people driving into New York, it's already expensive as it is to operate in New York City, right? The fact that people have to pay another $9, which initially it was $15, and it dropped down to $9, and she had the audacity to say it was a savings. But no, you shouldn't be charging anything, and you shouldn't be charging anyone to drive into New York City, because it's already expensive as it is, and all you're doing is increasing the cost of that New York City, and anyone that drives into New York has to pay for you to operate. If you manage your money properly, then you wouldn't need to impose this kind of tax to pay for your inefficient MTA business, MTA system. So the fact that they're doing this is a good thing. We'll see where it goes in terms of the courts, but as of now, it's done. And obviously, for a lot of people, see, this is why a lot of you people in New York need to be voting for Trump, man. He's getting things done, man. He's for the American people, right? He's looking out, right? You can't just say he doesn't care. This huge $9 charge, look, that's gonna affect a lot of people's pockets. So anybody out there that in New York that you're not voting for Trump, man, you need to be a Trump supporter now, because he's doing a lot and he's looking out for the American people. All right, so those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure you leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and share. And if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. All right, so guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.